Hello reviewer. So this is the last part of my presentation of my application that I have prepared for the purpose of the project, Capstone project, which is the last course in the mobile and cloud computing program held by COURSera. In this part, after presenting my initial concept for the application, the backend code structure, the front end visuals, in this last part I will present very briefly the code structure of the front end application. So let me run the application first. It is because logs are really important here, because for instance the service is running constantly after logging into the application. Let me log in as Klaus, as a doctor. So after logging in, the service is started, and see notification service, refreshing notifications, and it repetitively refreshes notifications for the doctor. I've made it refreshing very often in order to show the dynamics, show the operation of the service through dynamics of this acquiring. Well, the notifications shown prove that the HTTP protocol is used, and they will also show the data acquired in case, for instance, new notifications are being generated. So in the place of the square brackets at one point, real notification data will be presented. It's not presented now because notifications are generated for the doctor. Oh, here it is. Some notifications have been generated by the backend, so the polling caught it. So, but let me come back to the code structure itself, and let me focus on the presentation of code sections that correspond to the distinct requirements for the application. So first of all, multiple users via individual user accounts. Let me show you the login service, which actually initializes the retrofit interfaces, the retrofit clients corresponding to previously presented backend Spring services, and one of those interfaces tapping onto the backend is the user's controller API, and it contains a method returning the role of the user. So as shown in the visuals before, as proven by the existence of this logging string and the fact that I'm distinguishing roles within the code, we can conclude that patients have multiple roles and multiple accounts supported properly by the application. The second, it contains at least one user-facing function available only to authenticated users. As you can see in the service here, I'm creating each service, and 6 of them require authentication. I'm passing an OAuth server URL to each of the retrofit clients in order to authenticate, because without authentication I wouldn't be able to use my backend. Now, another requirement comprises at least one instance of each of at least two of the following four fundamental Android components. This activity, there are a lot of activities in this application. Main activity, which supports which supports full use of fragments, the complicated user interface of the user and of the doctor. So, for instance, patient activity, the second activity. Please note that I'm using action bar activities. These are new activities supported by new Android Lollipop. Then broadcast receiver. Let me see where I included broadcast receiver. I don't remember which package it is now for the broadcast receiver. Yes. Oh, here it is. Medicine alarm notification receiver. This is the broadcast receiver. We have a service. Service actually works all the time, as proven. It's an intent service and it refreshes the notifications repetitively, and then it puts the notifications to the content provider. There's also a content provider for notifications. So we have all basic Android components. App interacts with at least one remotely hosted Java Spring service. It has already been shown. It uses HTTP. It has already been shown. 3 sections. Well, as you can see, there are a lot of fragments here. Activities. So there are quite few of those sections. Then the app uses at least one advanced capability of API animations. For instance, animation for the button I've mentioned, the easiest to show. App supports at least one operation that is performed of the UI thread. Yes, so for instance, the main activity, I have a method that is run from the let's say from the subsequent, from the included fragments, which runs their produced runables, which are in turns executing in the which are in turns executing updates to the UI components or those fragments in the thread pool executor. So fragments are sending runables to the activity, and activity is running an UI, running the runables in the executor. It's a thread pool executor, and independent threads will then run a UI thread runables updating the frontend itself. The next requirement is there's a patient, a separately patient doctor also on the front-end side with all the parameters. Then we have reminders with the broadcast receiver, and here we have reminders set for notifications, last notifications. Then we have check-ins with questions. Well, there are a lot of places in the code supporting that functionality, but for instance, a single check-in, single checking is filled. The questions of the check, I think, are filled in this activity here. It's a separate activity that fills the questions. There's a question adapter. That actually fills the set of questions on the checking activity itself. Now, let me skip all the questions related requirements because they are clearly implemented. App defines a doctor as a different type of user. It has been shown that it is the case. Well, actually, I think that all of the requirements, the further requirements, are easy to be shown on the UI, and I have done that already. Let me present you the structure of the code briefly. I have the API, the retrofit interfaces, single checking, list of check-ins, DTOs, login screen, navigation, this main activity that dispatches all the fragments, notifications, it's for it's the service, the content provider, the record, contract, functionality supporting the synchronous acquiring of notifications by the background service with a background thread, of authentication client. This is patient is the activity and fragments displayed on tabs for the doctor. Patients, a list of patients with search, prescriptions with notification functionality, and some utils, a callable task allowing to acquire data for the front end sections. Here I have a lot of XMLs, a lot of layouts used in the application, drawables, some icons, all from the proper open source sources, menus. I borrowed MP3, Rooster MP3 for the notification from one of the examples for the first course of the program. ADL files. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope that through the set of 4 videos I've recorded, I have proven to the reviewer that my application supports actually all but one requirements, that it works properly both on the back end and on the front end. I think that the back end is much stronger part of the application because it's really heavily tested, properly designed with proper data model. The front end is neat because it's created for the new Android with new visual features of Android Lollipop. It's created with the use of fragments, nice drawer menu, nicely animated tabs with transitions through gestures, with search. Well, there are a lot of nice features in the front end, and the front end corresponds to almost all but one requirements, and it works. So I hope that these videos helped the reviewer to properly to get a proper overview of the application. I will obviously attach the code to my submission as well as the document which at least tries to list classes corresponding to particular requirements will help with the analysis of the code. Thank you very much.